Hey there, my name's Chris Hayzel, and I'm the digital multimedia producer here at Musio. We're getting ready to release the first collections from our World Adventure series, which features a bunch of culturally unique instruments that were recorded all around the world. And we're also working on some fun behind-the-scenes videos with footage from the actual sessions, as well as interviews from the team members and the performers that were part of those sessions. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. However, the reason for this video is to share with you a candid conversation with our CEO, Mike Patti. While I was conducting his interview for the Iceland sessions, the conversation sort of took on a life of its own. We ended up chatting a little bit about his own personal journey as a CEO, the decision to go all in on Musio, and how sometimes big ideas require taking big chances. And while this particular part of the conversation probably won't make it into the Iceland video, we thought it might be cool to share it with you anyway. So here it is, a snippet of my conversation with Mike Patti.
It's been, for me, just a really cool learning experience as to what that looks like, from going to just literally being the person who's doing all the sessions, chopping all the samples, doing all of the programming, creating the website, doing everything 100% myself, to years later being the person who doesn't do any of that stuff, and being able to trust incredible people to do those things for you. But then you have this new role that you have to take on, and I'm still figuring out what that role exactly looks like, and I think we're on the right track though. It's really figuring out what you're doing next, having a vision for where you want to take your company, and I think we've been pretty successful so far in that area, I hope.
And where do you want to take Cinesamples?
Into Musio. So we made a big decision. This was like in early 2023. Let me go back. Before 2023, we were sort of straddling both worlds of building contact instruments for Cinesamples and developing an entirely new software sampler platform, and doing both of these things at the same time, which is extremely difficult. And what happens is you think, oh, if you do that, you're doing half the amount of work on both. But in reality, what happens is you end up doing like a quarter of the amount of work on both. It's like you're inefficient in both areas. It's just not good. And so, but it's tricky because Cinesamples was the company that makes the money to pay the payroll, right? Musio makes $0 at the time. So it's like, what are we doing? We're spending this time and energy on this thing, and it's affecting Cinesamples negatively because we can't churn out as much contact products as we'd like. So we're like, we could do two things. We could cancel Musio, and we can go all in on Cinesamples again, or not cancel Cinesamples, but put a pause on developing instruments for Cinesamples Contact and go all in on Musio. And that was the decision we made. That was in January of 2023, which is a kind of a risky move. You're going all in on something that doesn't make any cash for your company, and you have this other legacy thing that's sticking around. And so the way that I see it, the long way of saying is that Cinesamples as the brand will always be around in a new form. We make instruments for Musio. We could have put out a few contact libraries and made a few extra bucks, but it's like, well, then we're just trying to capture the rest of whatever's left over in this market that's kind of changing. Like, why would we do that? Like, we're just, because it's going to fail anyway. So go all in on the thing that you really believe is the future. And it looks like it's going to be that way. Like, I'm just looking around. I'm friends with all these other virtual instrument developers, and they're all incredibly talented, but they're all in the same boat. And they're making incredible instruments, and it's just kind of like, do they have a platform where they can be flexible? Can they offer different pricing models? Can they consider the implications of artificial intelligence? Like, what is that going to look like for the future? And so we're primed and ready to leap at any of these things. Is subscription the future? Is perpetual the future? Is AI part of what we need to do? We're ready. We can go all in on any of that stuff because it's not super clear what the next 6 to 12 months are going to look like. Is that going to be useful for your video? I don't know.
Whether it's this one or another one,
Yeah. Okay.
But so like,
by the way, I sold my house and I put $500,000 in that into the company. That's it. I have no money anymore. Nothing. I don't know what I'm doing. My wife's amazing. She's just so supportive.
That's belief, man. That's belief. That's belief in what you do. That's what it takes. I think to do something that lasts, to do something that makes an impact. It takes the courage of your own convictions. And a lot of companies, I think, just believe in themselves, right? And they don't believe in the ability of the product that they're making to actually like make a difference for people. They're not looking beyond themselves and their belief in themselves. You believe in something bigger than yourself. That's my interpretation of it. It's not about you, right? It's not about, oh, I'm Mike Patti and I'm awesome and I believe in my ability to do these things. It's like you have this grander vision of something that really, a lot of tech companies and a lot of people will say, oh, we want to help the future, blah, 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 or help these people or whatever. But you actually are like putting your money where your mouth is and risking a lot to make these things more affordable for people, and taking the gamble that, lowering the price of these things that are traditionally high priced and traditionally kind of reserved for an elite group of composers. Lowering the price, while it seems like a giant price cut, will open it up to more people, and more people will then come in and want to be part of it. You're just sort of doing what you think is right and what's best, and I think that that's a wonderful thing. And I'm happy to be on board here with all of this stuff and help tell this story. And what's really cool about it is, even with this World Series stuff, there's an element of no bullshit, right? It's like we're not getting people to play the tagelharpa who like know how to play the tagelharpa in LA to come into an LA session. We're actually going to Iceland, where the tagelharpa is from, and we're finding somebody who plays it there, and we're doing this authentically, because why the fuck not, right? Like, if we're gonna do it, let's do it. There's a lot of people who wouldn't do that. They would just put on the facade, be like, oh, this is a tagelharpa. Was there anything that you learned, because you've been in this business for a long time? You've been doing this for a really long time. 16 years, that's not a short period of time. You're a fucking pro at this, right? Was there anything that you learned that was new in these sessions, working with these people in these cultures with their instruments, that would inform the way that you work moving forward?
That's a good question. Yeah. I think what I've learned the most is that no matter where you are, no matter what country you're in, all musicians are kind of the same. And it's kind of this old cliche, music is the universal language, or whatever variation of that. People that actually perform music and really kind of like have really dove into it and kind of devoted their lives are kind of connected in a certain way. And we all kind of have this shared, like, wink wink secret thing that we're all part of. I think it's a cool thing. It's a thing that really unites people. And that's been pretty cool to see. It's the kind of thing where you hear that and it sounds like something you'd see on a bumper sticker or something, Music unites the world, or something cheesy and all that kind of stuff. But I think there's a lot of truth to that. I think it taps into something that's bigger than ourselves. And if we could be a part of capturing whatever that is, I think we're on a good mission.
Hell yeah. Yeah.